Alright then. Episode 3. Let's do this. In this one, I'm going to be applying textures to the in-game models. As you can see, I've already pre-rendered mine. I've already applied all the textures from it. I know what ones they are due to how they've been set up in the source model, because they're pre-named. So I've just pre-applied them just so I know what the weapon will look like in-game. Obviously, as you can see, there's no bump maps on here, there's none of that, and the materials look very shiny at the moment because the shaders aren't from how they are going to be in-game. The game will give a much better render effect, making, if you set it up right, the darker rubber areas looking more like rubber and the metallic areas shining brighter in light areas, and etc, etc. But that's just all completely how you set up your shaders. So hang on, I'm gonna find the assets here. Give me a second. The assets for the add-on here that I'm using. Here. So as you can see here, these are the assets. The SRS-99. So if you can see here, all of these assets, these are named down here. You see, and Ishii, when he part of sources that these I'm pretty sure must be the same, if I'm not mistaken. So say for example, Sniper Composite. I just looked up Sniper Composite, opened it in Notepad, and here you can see Sniper Diffuse as the base texture, which is what I have set it to in here, which is the Sniper Body, Sniper Diffuse, and that's the texture for that. So yeah, these are basically for all of your different UV maps. If your texture isn't already UV mapped, what you need to do, you need to go into edit mode by this little window down here, or simply by hitting tab. Select all your vertices by just hitting A, pressing U, then go to unwrap. After you've done that, you want to go to the UV editing window here, and it will come up with all of your vertices, and you'll need to map them like that. So you see there, all of these vertices, well, not all of them, but a lot of these vertices here you'll see are mapped for this current thing. So if I just select all of these here, you'll see all of these things have been mapped to this texture. So that's how that works. So we'll just head back into default mode here and go back into object mode. And to see your textures, what you want to do here next to the object mode is this bit. You click on material and it will show you all the textures. Also, just as a quick notice, to get your lighting to be bright like this, you want to click on your lamp here, then go to this tab here and click on the Hemi. It will be, by default, it will point, just click Hemi and it will be full bright. So you can clearly see what textures they are. So yeah, I'm gonna go back into 3ds. In fact, I'm gonna show how to export the colored or the textured model. So you want to extract as wavefront, which is .obj. I'm just going to rename sniper file, and then you need to tick objects like that. That second one there. All of these settings are the same. So I'm just going to head back into 3ds, import and re-import my model. As you can see there, it's in here and it's textured now. So I'm going to grab all my vertices again. Oh, hang on, I've accidentally selected that. I'm going to grab all my vertices again and move it back to position. But an easier way that I can, in fact no, because the lining up is broken anyway. So that's fine, because if you saw the last video, it wasn't lined up correctly. So I'm just going to move this back in to position. So I'm just going to try and line this up as best as I can. Once it's lined up again, I'm going to go into game and show you the changes. Alright then, I've lined up my model, for in-game. That's all done, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off by making a 3000 by 3000 size image on Photoshop. Because what I'm going to do now, I'm going to transform the texture for the Reach Sniper into a .dds format. You can do this two ways, or multiple ways I found out. You can use GIMP, there's a plugin for GIMP I believe. You can use Photoshop, I've linked that plugin in the description. There's a readme in there on how to install it for CS6. And then there's also an online converter here that you can use, but this will only convert to DTX5 format. So if you need to use any other format aside from DTX5 for a texture, then you're out of luck. You got to use an actual plugin on a program, which is what I'm doing. I'm still going to be saving as DTX5, but it's just I find it easier like this. So I'm just going to get my I believe I just need Sniper Composite, Sniper Diffuse, there we go. And we see we got our little image here of all of our textures. We're just going to hit enter to place that and go to image trim all transparent pixels. The reason why I made the image so large is because in Photoshop if you place an image with the image resolution, it will fit the image into the canvas. And that's not what I want. So now I'm just going to go save as, wherever that is, there it is. I'm just going to save it as .dds here. This is from the plugin. I'm going to name this sniper underscore body. Sniper underscore body there, .dds, save, and then I'll get this window and I'll save it as DTX5 interpolated alpha. And then that's pretty much it, just hit save, and if I go to my textures in here, which is in here somewhere, weapons I believe it was, sniper, and there's our .dds, hit that, and I'm actually going to move it to here, oh not there. I'm going to move it to my Reach Sniper folder, and you'll see here I've got a custom program that allows me to view .dds files. I believe this is Windows Texture Viewer. It's very easy to find online, so I'm not going to leave a link. It's very easy to find. There's no point. So that's our first texture. I'm going to copy it then to this folder here. I've set up an extra folder. I'm going to set up a new folder in here. I'm just going to call it Reach Sniper. You don't have to call that. You can call it anything you want. I'm just going to paste it in here. And that's what I'm going to do. And also, here's the thing. You really want to write all of your commands down in a text line. It makes it very easy for them to copy in or share your commands if you need to share it with anyone. And what I've done here is I've lowered the left hand of the way that it's being held down lower. So that means that the handle is still lined up, and also that the hand will slot down when an animation finishes, which is a little bit janky, but it's better than editing the whole animation over and over again, which I'm not even sure how to do. Well, yeah, I'm not sure how to edit animations, but yeah, I set this to 1 times low. It used to be like that by base, and now it's 3 times. Right then, so now what we're going to do, we're going to look in assembly for our model that we want to replace, which is FP Sniper Rifle. And then we're going to go down here to the materials and look what the base is. If you've still got your model imported, what you want to do is just reset your backup. You want to go back, you want to roll back to see what the original shader is that the weapon used. So here we can see that this uses a this shader here for this. This is the shader. If we click that arrow there, we'll open it up in a new tab, and then we can go to Meta Editor and see what's here. So this might be a bit confusing at first, but you'll see all of these different properties here. These are the bitmaps, these are the images, and here if we click on the template, you'll see here the shader maps here. This is what this links to. So this first index 0 is the base map. That is the base texture that it's going to be using. If we go down 1, that's going to be the detail map. That usually doesn't need to be anything So that's usually just not really anything important there, but as you can see here it is. Well, might not be. And then we got the bump map. The bump map is this other texture. I'll show you what the bump map is if you don't know what it is. I haven't changed it yet though. Not there. We need to go back to Reach Sniper. We go into here. And you see here the normal map or the bump map. You see here, this is basically how lighting will reflect off your texture without adding extra vertices. It makes your weapon look, well, have much better lighting. And if we go into here, we'll see that our next one is a bump detail map. If you can see what these textures are by opening the texture, like going to there, clicking on it, go to information, viewing the tag, and if I go to open the tag tool, I can type in now edit tag 0x1 FA2, and you'll see now I'm editing that map. When I go extract bitmap extracts. If you haven't already made a folder, it will ask you if you want to make a folder. However, I already have an extract folder, so that's where it's put it. And now if I go here and I look for 1FA2, or not there, extracts 1FA2, which is somewhere. Hang on. There it is. So we see here, this is just another bump map. This is just another detailed bump map for a little bit more thing. So that's how you can see what it is. And obviously I'm viewing these because of a Windows Texture Viewer. And you'll also see that some things can appear a bit differently if it doesn't want to crash. If it crashes, you can just reopen it. Usually. Usually it'll want to reopen. It doesn't seem like it wants to open this time. But usually I'm able to view that texture. So you'll see here sometimes it just doesn't want to work, which is great for when I'm recording a video. But anyway, that's a material map for the default battle rifle. But obviously it seemed like I'm not able to show it off this time. But yeah, so I can close that. And then the next on the list is the bump detail mask map. So I can go into index 4, open it, see what it is, what tag is it. I can go X out of that, edit tag. 1FA3 extract bitmaps, extract, exit there and see what it is. So it's 1FA3, and we'll see there that it's basically just telling it where to put things. I honestly don't know what it's doing, but it doesn't really matter that much anyway. It's like minimal details if you're a perfectionist. And then the last bit of all is the material texture. This is a very important texture that you want to do because this manages all of the lighting on the different areas of your weapon. So if you don't get the material texture right, you'll either have a very shiny weapon or a very bland weapon. I have a template for a material texture here, which is of course not letting me able view it, which is just great. But it's basically, as you can see, just a big green blob, and it will allow your textures to not be shiny and have a little bit of detail. If you want it to have more detail and more shininess, you can edit the image in Photoshop. I'll allow you to download the mat.dds. You can turn it back into whatever. You can edit it in Photoshop. You can make it so that the green is a lower gradient, or if you want more of a gradient, you can you can make it yeah. Anyway, as I said, in fact, here's the battle rifle one. Anywhere here that's white is pink. It doesn't show in here, but it's actually pink in there. Just of course it won't allow me to open the image for some reason. Windows Texture Viewer is not being very nice. But yeah, you get the point. But yeah. Hang on, let's see if we can open it through this. No, okay. But yeah, that's basically just what the material is it will give different areas of your shader different parts of lighting. So for now, we go back into bitmaps. In fact, no, we go back into reach sniper, and you see we got a texture there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to create tag bitum, and we're going to go name tag star objects whatever. Remember this bit's important. I'm just going to copy down here because this is just previously what I've done. So basically this is what I'm going to name it. So I'm going to name it objects sniper rifle. I'm going to call it reach sniper, and I'm going to call it sniper body. And basically what naming your tag does is it allows your mod to be compatible with other mods if you're creating new tags, which is what you're going to be doing. You never really want to overwrite original tags unless they have a specific function that you need and they are replacing the weapon, and they are on the weapon that you are replacing. So now that we've done that, we want to go edit tag, and then we copy this down, and then we dot bitmap because it's a bitmap tag. So basically what that does through this, it will open up this bit where we can edit all of the fields, and we're going to import bitmap 0 reach sniper, which is the file, and then sniper underscore body.dds. Save tag changes, exit. I don't believe it's necessary to save tag changes, but I do it just in case, although I've been told that this software will automatically save your tag changes when you import a bitmap, but as I said, I just do it to be sure. So now basically what that does is created a new tag with that name, and then we've imported our own custom bitmap into it. So then what we can do now is we can also create another tag. I'm just going to highlight it all and press Control D, which will duplicate it in Notepad++. So we can create another bitmap and then call that bump, and then do that bump. So now obviously we need our bump map. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back into Photoshop, place, and I'm going to find the bump map, which is, no, not diffuse, my bad. I'm going to place normal. You see we got a normal map, delete the other layer, and then I'm just going to make sure this is all lined up. I'm going to go File, Save As, .dds, bump, sniper underscore body bump. Right then. But this is a DTX5 texture, and that is not what we want. We do not want it DTX5. So you're going to go and grab your texture that you just saved to the bump map. So I'm going to do Control X, and you're going to use this program here. And delete those two. I'm going to name it bump underscore map, and then you're going to click convert.bat. It will process it and it will make it, and now it's this format. You need this format, as you can see, DTX5 ANTI2N or ATI2N. That is what you need for your bump maps to work properly. So I'm going to copy this, I'm going to take it back, and now you see sniper body bump. You don't have to name it that, you name it anything you want. You could name it Big Dick Slayer and it will still work. You don't need to name it the same as sniper body. That's just how it's going to be imported. So I'm going to move it here, and then we'll go back into Notepad, and we'll do sniper underscore body bump. And there, now we've got a bump map imported. But what we also need now to do is we are going to take this original shader here, which is index 1F95, and we're going to duplicate it. And what we're going to do then is we're going to do this. So we're going to go duplicate tag 0x 1F95. We're going to do name tag, and we're going to do the same thing. This is just how I'm going to do it. You don't have to name yours like this. That's just how I'm doing it. So I'm going to do sniper body shader and do edit tag. I'm going to do sniper body shader dot shader. Shaders use dot shader, bitmaps use dot bitmap. Okay, you can see in assembly what the dots are. So say a bitmap dot bi dot bit dot bitmap mode dot render model light dot light so there shader rmsh dot shader. So then what we're going to do now, we're going to go to set field materials, wait no, it's not materials, that's shader properties 0. Basically what that's doing is it's going to go into this block here, and then I'm going to do another one which is shader maps, and it's going to go into this 0 index block here. Dot shader maps 0 dot, and then you see here bitmap, bitmap, and we're going to do our thing here, which is we are going to set the bitmap for 0 to this, because this is our base map as we saw in the shader properties. So remember, you follow the template, find what one it is, you see if it's got a base map, you see if it's got a bump map. You can play around with different shaders, but I recommend using the one that's actually on the base weapon, as that will probably give you the best results. So then, you can see all of the tags that you want. So if I do edit tag, so if you need to find out what different names are for them, you go edit tag 0x1 F95. So you're in the tag, you go list fields, and look, it shows you base random method, and don't use import data, shader properties. So I go, okay, edit block shader properties 0, and I go list fields, and now I've got a new list of fields, and it says there shader map 6 list fields, or I go edit block shader maps 0 list fields, and it says there bitmap. That is the bitmap that we're replacing. So if I do, so I'm just going to exit, but you are putting in the commands for these. So if you need to change bitmap flag for some reason, you'll change the byte. You don't, it's not done through this, but you wouldn't need to change that really ever. Unless you actually desperately wanted to change it, then you don't change it through this or whatever, you change it through this. You have to find what the field is that you want to change and then do set field. Obviously if you're in the block you can just do set field, but if you know what the block names are and the field names are, you can just set the field through there and you won't have to go through the blocks and exit back out of them. So that's what I've done here, is I've gone through the blocks and I'm setting the field of shader property 0 and shader map 0 bitmap field to this tag, which is this. Right then, so what you do, so you're setting the field of this here, which is this tag here, which we've named. Okay, so we're going to do set field, and we're going to find what the bitmap index is of this shader. So not the bitmap, the bump map. So the bump map is index 2, so we go to index 2, yeah, that looks like a bump map to me, bump.bitm, and then we go at set field. In fact, I'm just control D that down. I'm going to do bump, and I'm going to change the shader maps to shader maps 2, which is that index there, is what we need to change. We'll do save tag changes. I forgot to mention that if your tag doesn't, or if your base texture doesn't have a bump map with it, or you don't want to make one, just set this to 0x0343. That is a bitmap already in the game that is a 1x1 image, and it shouldn't break anything if you set that as a bump map. It will just mean that you won't have good looking lighting on your weapon. So that's all. So that is 0x0343 or just 0x343, doesn't matter. But that is a base texture in the game. If you've got another mod, if there's another mod that overrides that, then they're dumb, and they shouldn't have done that. But yeah, that's if your weapon doesn't have a bump map. And that's pretty much it. You've got your first shader. We'll get an X out of it first. And after that, all we need to do now is go into here and find out what one it is. This bit is very trial and error. You need to find out what the game has indexed, what material or UV map has. So say for example we're getting lucky and it might be UV index 0. Well, then that's what we do. We'll go back into Notepad here and we'll do set field materials 0 dot render method, and then we'll do it as the this shader here. So that's what we want to set it at. So basically what we've just done is we've edited so hang on, so if we go edit tag 0x1 f8d and then we go list fields, we see here we've got our materials somewhere. There they are. So you see I've got our 12 materials here. Do edit block materials. We'll do index 0. So say for example if we wanted to edit different materials, we do different indexes. List fields. And you'll see here that this is our shader, or this is the shader that this uses. So we're setting it to our shader here. We save tag changes, exit, and now we're gonna copy this, and then we can exit to tags, and then we can paste it in, and it appears we've got an error. So if your thing shuts down like that, like mine just did, then what you can do is actually very simple. Just open up tag tools again, paste in the individual commands from exit, and see what's causing the error. So as you see, there's no errors there. Enter, create another bitmap here. As you see there, no error. And we can go to duplicate tag and see if we got the error here. Yeah, see, here we go. So what we've done here is that we've gone to edit tag name. Okay, so there's the error, is that I've put tag name there instead of just the tag itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go back to edit that. So if I just go like there and paste it again, see now we've managed to get into the tag and edit it. We click on exit, go back to edit tag, paste there, it's importing our model, and it's done. We've saved tag changes after that, and you see here that we've set it to that. So now if we go into game, well then, rest in peace. Let's see what that error is. So I'm just going to check the crash log. Crash log says that it can't access Mountain Dew, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to simply try doing, I'm just going to run the FFM, apply check mods. I've got nothing selected, so it's just going to give my backups back. There we go, backup restore, close log, done. And I'm going to paste everything back into here and see if it might have just been a simple error. Okay, I messed that up again. I didn't exit out, so I'm going to just apply check mods again quickly. Backup restored, okay, close. I'm going to go back into here, open up the tag tool, and paste. Unless we've somehow messed this up. I can't see any errors here. Maybe it was just a random thing. No clue, honestly. But we'll try it again. as you can see there, it seems like it was just a random crash. We come around here, pick up the sniper, pick it up. And it doesn't appear our texture has appeared anywhere, but that's probably just because of the thing that we chose. So let's just close out of here. Let's set the random. Let's set a few randomers. So let's just go. So let's say, for example, we just want to. Okay, I don't actually know. Whatever. Say, for example, we just set 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we run this through, so we just go edit tag. So we can just run this again through the tag tool. We just click on exit, save tag changes. So I'm just going to go back into the map, go and pick up the sniper, and see if any materials changed, which hopefully they did. As you can see there, we got some textures on our weapon. Obviously they're not perfect. You can see there, all of the white spots is the UNSC decals texture. There, we got some textures on our weapon. So go play around with what textures you need, and then we'll come back later. As you can see that the bullets are also textured in, which is pretty cool, I would say. Anyway, so I'm gonna go do all the textures and come back in the next video. Peace out.